All right, welcome back, everybody, to another edition of Fit Talk with Coach Luis. This time, we're talking with Austin Zechman. We actually have a mutual friend, Leslie Cooprider, who kind of let me know about Austin and what he's doing. And super nice guy. I've been talking to him for a few weeks now, and he's done a lot. And the guy's got a master's in exercise sciences. He's intern in Penn State, and he's even a co-owner with Iron Breed Performance. And so I'm really happy to have you on, Austin, man. How are you doing?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Oh, for sure, man. It's my pleasure. My pleasure. I love talking to people that are doing the grind and working hard day in and day out. And I know you just moved to Dallas, so you're just kind of getting back into that, the routine of things. So, I want to thank you for taking the time. So, and just tell me, like, what is it that you feel that drove you now to being to where you're at right now? Like, what is it that moved you to do that?
Oh man. So being from Pennsylvania, I kind of knew that I needed to go somewhere else for me to really do my thing, if that kind of makes sense. And I had the opportunity to live in New York for a period of time and then live in Las Vegas. And the company that I worked for in Las Vegas actually ultimately brought me down to Dallas. And it was kind of like when I went to Vegas and I drove across the country, drove back, I kind of realized I was like, man, like I need to go like experience these things and go do these things. And that was a huge transition for me because I was never that type of person to like go and do these things. I was like, oh yeah, like I should, but I never would. And then going out there and doing that and making myself like, all right, like just go do it, get out there and do these things. Was a really big change for me. So then same deal with moving down here to Dallas. I think it was just like a complete like mindset shift where I was like, all right, like new place, new space, time to like do some new things and like really like take off. You have nothing holding you back now.
For sure.
So yeah, that's kind of I guess been my mindset. So I mean, it's been an adjustment. I mean, every time you move and you go somewhere new, it's always a different learning process and like learning the area, developing your own schedule. I mean, and this is for me for the first time in 6 years that I haven't been in school. So now I'm like, wow, I'm like not in school, and I have to like go do these other things and like you throw in adulting elsewhere. So yeah, it's interesting, that's for sure.
Yeah,
But
it's yeah. Like we were talking a little bit before we started the recording. You talked about how that's a whole different type of busy. How you were busy before, but this is just different type of adulting for sure.
oh yeah, I mean in grad school I was working three different jobs, and I was a bouncer. I also worked at the rec center as like a manager in the office, kind of overseeing the place. And then I would work on a Christmas tree farm, and I was busy, but I still felt like I had like a lot of free time, even with like grad school classes and work included. But now here, I mean, I have my main job that I moved down here for. I have a side personal training job. And in between both of those and then trying to get my own like lifting in, and then even like working on the company that I started. Yeah, I was like, wow, like sometimes that company taking the back seat because it's just like, wow, well, I got all this other stuff that I got to work out on a daily basis. So by the time I get there, I'm like, whew, it's like super late, and I'm like, it's time to go to bed. So
Yep,
you get a decent amount of sleep.
that's right. You gotta get those Z's in, man.
Oh, I know they're so important, and it's like, oh man, I know I should get like 8, and I'm like, oh, if I get like 6 to 7, we're good. So
You're happy, yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely, man. So you were talking about a little bit that you did some competing before. So
Oh yeah, yeah. So I haven't really competed in powerlifting for about 4 years now.
mhm,
And ironically, back then my goal was to get about a 2,000 pound total.
right.
And those who aren't familiar in powerlifting, it's the squat, bench, deadlift. And I really wanted to do that, but then I just had a bunch of injuries, and I was like, man, this just really doesn't seem like super realistic anymore. And I was like, maybe that was overshooting, and maybe I'm just too injured to like do this, because at some point, I'm like, I value being able to be active and be healthy and do things more than I do being chronically injured, because you can't get better if you're chronically injured and not in the gym. So um, I took a real step back for the last couple of years and just really worked on improving my nutrition and just training differently and just trying to keep myself healthy. And I've made a lot of progress. And then I guess now my body's finally been healthy enough to be like, hey, you know what? Maybe we should give this another shot. So that's where we're at. I think it's a lot more attainable now than it was 4 years ago. That's for sure.
Awesome, man. Yeah, everything in its due time, And I do like how we were talking before too about that was your goal, was to get back to the basic lifting and just shoot for that. So that's really good, and that's what you're gonna go back for, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, so hopefully we can stay healthy long enough to put it together. And that's the thing. It's like the strength is there, so it's just got to stay healthy long enough to be able to put everything together. So that's the exciting part about it. So
Yeah. So what do you think is your why for doing all this? What do you think is what is it that motivates you to do this?
oh wow, it's kind of different. I don't know. I'm not really motivated by money. I know a lot of people are motivated by money. I know like lifting's just something that I enjoy. Like I think, getting back into powerlifting and doing that, maybe hitting a 2,000-pound total would be cool, because I don't know how many people can say they have a 2,000-pound total. And one day I would like to do a bodybuilding competition, just because, like, wouldn't that be real cool to do? Like, I don't know. I just feel like that'd be like a cool thing to be like, oh yeah, I did this,
Oh, heck yeah, for sure.
I
Something.
guess a lot of my stuff is like,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess a lot of it's like just to be like, yeah, I did it, like starting a business, and like even a lot of like, I do some like coaching and personal training on the side, and like, yeah, of course, like, you're getting paid for it. But at the end of the day, like for that and everything that I do, like with supplements and like helping people in the gym, outside of the gym, it's not more so about getting paid. It's about more so just helping people and like, giving people like the best stuff. Like when it comes to supplements, I'm like super picky and I'm like super critical. So I'm like, if I'm making supplements, I want it to be like the absolute best thing that you can be taking, like, nothing less. But I also want to make it affordable, because, I was a broke college kid and like trying to get decent subs. And I'm like, well, you can't, because good stuff costs money. So I was like, want to make good stuff that people can afford. Yeah, it's just really kind of like helping people out, because a lot of people helped me out along the way. And I know I definitely wouldn't be where I was, inside the gym, outside the gym, without these people even just, uh, giving me the right pointers at the right time, or, just being at the right spot in the right time, just, saying the right thing at the right time to really just kind of get me thinking. I mean, ultimately, you know how it is. You got to do it on your own.
Mhm.
You can't have people do things for you, but to just have, the people there to just guide you in the right way at the right time. I feel like I owe it to other people to try and help guide them with what I know.
Oh, absolutely, man. And it really is what it's all about, is what you said right there. It's about helping people. And I always say it, of course, we all got to eat. So obviously there's got to be, some type of, hopefully you can, make a difference while also making an income, of course. But the
Yeah.
bottom line is just to help people, educate them, and see them also grow and flourish like we did when we were, starting up and making those changes. So the fact that you said that, the main purpose is not to make the money, that was really good to hear that, because a lot of times people go into this type of industry for the wrong reasons. But I also noticed that usually those type of people usually weed themselves out in a sense.
Yeah.
So,
Well, yeah, I know my problem is I'm actually like a super horrible like salesman. I probably don't do as much marketing as I should. And it's one of those things that back when I was in college, where I went to school, there were personal training jobs available, but it was in super low income areas. And I just felt so hard, because you have to sell these people these expensive training programs I know that they can't afford. And ultimately, like the same way that I do my pricing now with stuff is, I don't want my stuff to be so expensive that you can't afford, the tools you need, like the food you need to be able to do like the type of training or the type of like eating that I want you to do. Like I want you to be able to, do like follow the diet plan the best that you can. And I want you to be able to buy like the right foods to fuel your body. But I don't want like you to have to pay me so much that you can't afford to do that, because that completely defeats the entire point.
it does.
Um, and like I guess it's different, because I mainly work with a lot of younger individuals, like around my age or still in college, and so I understand, because I was in their shoes too, that I don't have a whole lot of extra money that they don't either. And, so it's, I don't want to charge people. So I know my biggest struggle is that I probably charge a lot less than I should, but at the same time, it really doesn't bother me because I feel better knowing that at least people can afford, I want to help people without being a huge detriment to them getting to where they want to be financially and all that stuff. So it's kind of, it's funny how that goes. I know I could probably charge more and I could probably do a little bit more marketing and advertising. But it is what it is. It's been organically like grassroots grown so far, and that's been all right. So
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that at all. You actually build a solid community that way of people that know that you actually care, and they will stay with you because they know that, yeah, Austin actually does care about my well-being overall, not just the short term. Because it's like if you train those people, and let's say you train them for like a quick 6 month package program, is that really going to make a huge difference in their overall life? I mean, not really.
yeah, and honestly, the best part to me is how they feel about themselves when they get there. And so like if any of my clients were to listen to this podcast, I hope that they know how genuinely proud I am of them for all of their success that they make. And like ultimately at the end of the day, like I helped you, but I didn't put the food in your mouth, and two, I didn't go to the gym and make you work out.
That's right.
I just stood here and I just said, hey, this is what we should do. Ultimately, it came down to you to go do it. And, all the success that they've, made, everything that they've done, they've earned that. And like, I'm just like infinitely like really proud of my clients like all the time, just because they work hard and, it means a lot to me. Like if somebody's willing to give me that 100% effort, I will give them 110% effort, even if I'm not the best at replying to text messages. So.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's the key right there, is that we're just guides for everyone. That's all we are.
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
help them along the way, but just like you said, there's only so much we can do. We can't work out for you. We can't eat the foods for you to make you change. So when they make those massive changes, absolutely, that's the best feeling in the world, to see them progress and to just get better, because they're finally getting it, and they're seeing that they actually are making these amazing changes. And that is everything right there. So
Oh yeah, absolutely.
awesome, man. Yeah, I'm glad that you said that too, because I know, hopefully they will listen to it, and then they'll know you're talking about them. So that'll be even more motivation for them to, to keep pushing for more and for longer.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, and even when they like for example, I have a client who he is now starting his own personal training and getting into coaching, and I'm like super proud of him because he's been essentially kind of like it makes me feel good to be like I've actually been like teaching him
Mm-hmm.
something along the way, or at least I feel like I've been teaching some stuff along the way because I've been working with him for at least a year and a half now. So it's like, I feel like I've definitely like taught him a lot of stuff along the way, and that now he's going out and finding and pursuing his passion. So
Yeah,
yeah,
isn't that awesome? Like, you see
I
your
know.
people that you help train and guide, and then they end up being so inspired by it, and that they want to do the same thing. That is amazing, man. That's really good. Nice work, man.
Well, thank you. I mean, I'd like to take credit for it, but this guy, he's got quite the motivation.
Yeah.
He's got the work ethic. So yeah, I mean, the sky is literally the limit for him. I mean, it's going to be insane.
Mhm. Yeah, and the thing is too, is that if you weren't that passionate and so focused on making them feel that they are what's important to you, and like I always try to make all of my clients and athletes feel like they're my only client. And it seems like you do the same thing, because you're inspiring these people to just also want to grow in the same exact industry where they felt good and happy. So I mean, it's a no-brainer, man. Good coaches make amazing athletes. So we I'm the same with really hard with doing the marketing about myself. So
Oh yeah,
so I mean, you gotta be able to at least, and I learned that you have to at least be able to take that credit where credit is due.
yeah, yeah. I know the self promotion. That's a hard one, and that's something that I've always struggled with.
It really
So,
is. It's more like
yeah.
word of mouth. and I'm fine with that, you know?
Yeah. Like, wow, somebody recommended you to me. Like, that's fantastic. Like,
Right.
and people
Exactly.
are like, wait, you do coaching? I'm like, yeah, I do. I mean, if you're interested, like,
Yeah.
I was like, if you want, like, this is what I do and how I do it. But if you don't, like, hey, it's okay. Like, I'm not offended either way. So,
Yeah. It's so true.
yeah, it's almost kind of sad. But, at the end of the day, it's like, it works. So,
It
like I
does,
said,
and
I'm
it
not
just,
in it to
yeah, and
make.
then you be you. That's it, man. There's, just being yourself is what has got you to do all the things that you've done till now. So why would you change that?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, there's no need to, because then you wouldn't feel like you're being true to yourself, and that's when things wouldn't really work out, because it doesn't feel like it's you doing it for the reasons that you want to do and for the right reasons.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually tried to, make more posts about that and like, my coaching, blah, 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 blah. And I'll tell you what, it didn't feel like organically me. And I was like, oh man, it's
Mhm.
just like, it's so hard to do that. And, props to the people that like are very good at that,
Absolutely.
props to them because that is not me. And, I wish that I could do that a little bit more without feeling so guilty about it. But, like I said, it's a process. So
It is. It really is. And just little by little, you do it, and then once it does feel natural and organic to you, then you'll do it more. But it has to be. When it's time, basically. You
yeah,
know?
yeah.
So tell me, with the clients that you've trained, do you have like a funny or interaction that you had, like a really good interaction, something that you feel would help some other people that may be struggling right now, like a good story that you saw someone grow from whatever it may be, either an injury or just they didn't feel like they were progressing or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I have some good, um, I have a bunch of different scenarios, and I guess it really kind of depends on which one you swing it. I do some in-person personal training down here in Dallas, and I train a 14-year-old boy, and now he is a little overweight, and he, you can tell that his self-confidence is a little bit lower. When I first got him, him trying to do a body weight squat was real rough.
Yeah.
And for the first time the other day, he was squatting with the barbell. Um, and that was probably, I mean, I can just tell that even just the way that, like, he came to me the one day and he was telling me about how people were asking him to carry stuff because, they were like, oh, like you're getting stronger. Like, I want you to carry this stuff for a, and like to him just telling me like, wow, like, I can do this and I've never been able to do this before. Or just even,
Yeah.
small stuff like that.
Yeah, that's really good. That means the world to that kid too.
Oh yeah. And it means like, he's such a great kid. And I even have another client in person that he he's like a 155 and he is a tall, lanky kid.
Mhm.
And he came to me with a gold bench 225. Now we're currently on the way there. I guess it all started as a bet. And he just cared about benching, but he wants to get bigger and stronger. And he is just such a sponge. And one of the things that he struggles with the most, and I think that I'm trying to like still work with him on, is patience. And a lot of times people kind of seem to forget that when it comes to training, that nothing is like overnight. And even with injuries, I mean, I can tell somebody that's struggling to work around injuries is like, man, I've been dealing with back issues for like 2.5 to 3 years. And
Mhm.
if I told you that, when I was 21 years old, I couldn't reach down and touch my toes because my back hurt so much. And then a couple weeks ago, I come back and I squat within 20 pounds of my max after not squatting for like a year, after dealing with like back injuries where it's like I wake up and it's like I can't even make my bed because my back hurts. So you just got to like be really patient and kind of trust the process, but you got to do the right things. If you're not doing the right things or you're making too many changes, because
Right.
I see that a lot. People get like really upset that they that they're not getting where they want to be. And this is especially true with the one kid that I train that's not very patient. I'm trying to teach him, like, hey man, like, just because you're not where you want to be right now doesn't mean that you won't be there. It's just, you got to be patient because these things take time. And I was like, if you look at like powerlifting, I mean, like, it's someone like Dan Green. Nobody knew who Dan Green was until like 4 years ago. But then all of a sudden he pops up on the scene and he's like one of the best powerlifters in the industry, like at the time. And then, every year, like, you have all these new powerlifters popping up that are just the strongest, like, freakiest people you've ever seen. But nobody knew about them prior to that one meet where they had that super, super big total. That doesn't mean that they weren't there. It just means that they were working in the dark, slowly gaining traction, getting better, better, and better until they come out and they hit that ultimate peak performance. So it just takes a lot of time, and I think a lot of times people just don't really think about that.
Yeah, and that's a big, huge part of it, is what you said, is the patience. People get frustrated, and it's just, as like you said, trust the process. There's a lot of repetition that needs to take place.
Oh yeah, it sometimes it takes a lot longer than you want it to, and I get that. Like, sometimes it really does suck, but the best people, like the elite athletes, the best people, the person that you probably look up to, is the reason why they're there where they are is because they stuck with it when everybody else quit. And that's ultimately what it comes down to.
Yeah.
So
exactly, man. Yeah, it's like you said earlier, it's that mix of the sleeping, the eating, the right supplements, the recovery time. It's a lot, and it's not gonna come in a couple of weeks or nothing like that. It's gonna take solid hard work, and again, doing what you're doing and helping these people, making sure that even though you can charge more, but you don't, because you want it to be something sustainable for them, that is going to help them so much to be able to reach that, their potential, because they'll have a really, really great guide, that's got their back.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times that I try to instill the importance of, all these different variables into everybody, not even just people that I work with, but just everybody. Like, even the casual person that I meet in Walmart that asks, wow, you look like you lift a lot of weight. Like, how can I get like this? And it's like, well, like, just make sure you're sleeping enough, make sure you're eating the right foods, eating enough, and then make sure you're training hard. But ultimately, because I used to be in the, I'll just train hard and, whatever else happens. Well, it's like, no, I wish I would have realized that nutrition is way more important than anything you'll ever do in the gym. And same thing with sleep. Like, I would have known that. Like, but, now that I know, I'm like, wow, these are the things I wish I would have known sooner. So I hope that I can try to convey these messages to everybody, client or not, just random person. I just met you 5 minutes ago. Hey, like, make sure you sleep enough, eat enough vegetables and protein, and go to the gym hard. Like, just like that. That should be enough for most people to be like, okay.
Yep. It's true. And then, like you said, and then, you obviously break down into the different little, categories within those things, but it's true. Within the gist of it, that's it. And you take it from there, but if you start with those things, it's a fantastic start,
Oh yeah, it's amazing. And, people just go to the basics and, don't get too fancy with stuff. They're like, oh, wow. It's like, you don't need to get real fancy for things to work. It's just do the things that we should do, and wow, watch what happens.
Yeah. So you hear that, guys? Go find Austin in Dallas, Texas. He's gonna he'll help you.
Well, hey, even if you're not in Dallas, you can always reach me online. So I'm always open. So
perfect. Yeah, and then we're gonna give out your info also right before we wrap it up. That way, anyone does definitely want any information and help like that, for sure, man. And I know they'll really appreciate it. So then, what do you think is the message that you would want to send out to anyone that's listening right now?
Ooh, well, it's probably the message that I want to send out is probably the message that I would actually tell my like 21-year-old self. Obviously we all look back and wish, man, I wish I could have told my younger self this.
Yeah.
And this, this can be applicable in, just life and in just in training in general. So maybe I would tell my 20 to 21-year-old self, I would say, work hard and do what you need to do. Take care of your business and work hard and make your goals happen. So they're not going to happen if you don't work for it. But also keep your possibilities and your options open, because you ever know when you're going to get the right opportunity to go do something that could completely change your life. I mean, if you would have asked me 5 years ago if I thought I'd be where I am right now, my answer would have been like, what? No way. Like, I'd be living here doing this, doing that. I would have thought like you're like crazy. But, it's just one of those things when you keep your opportunities open and, you're open to new experiences, doing new things, always learning new information, and then applying, like figuring out how can I apply these things that I've learned to myself to make myself better, to, keep progressing and, finding these right opportunities. I feel like that is like what everybody should be doing. Now, granted, maybe I'm biased because that's what I did and I thought it worked out well for me, but I just feel like, being able to apply all these things that I've learned to trying to make myself better and being open to new opportunities has allowed me to change my life in such a way that I can't even couldn't have even imagined. And, then just, I guess on the lifting side of things, just being patient, trusting the process, and just, working hard on my goals.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. I mean, that would be my message, because that's the same sort of stuff that I wish I would have known when I was younger.
Yeah, man, that's perfect. That's gonna help so many, younger athletes that are, trying to get some good guidance and, figure out what to do, because there's so many things that's out there right now, and just listening to that and explain, seeing your overall story, it's gonna really be a huge inspiration for a lot of people that are looking for that type of guidance, and just hearing that type of a story of
Well, yeah,
done.
I can even back that up with, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you, but I just thought
Oh,
it was a perfect segue for this. Just hearing, kind of my story. Like, I went into college as a freshman, undecided, not knowing what I was going to do. And I went into the health science field because I'm like, okay, like there's always going to be jobs in this field, right? Like people are always going to be getting sick, and there's people are always going to be getting injured. So there's probably going to be jobs here. So I was like, oh, I want to be connected to sports because I love sports. And I went into athletic training. Well, I started doing that and I was like, oh man, I actually really don't like this. Like, this is not what I want to do. I don't want to be a glorified babysitter. No disrespect to anybody else. That's just how I felt when I was going through that.
Right.
And then I was like, oh, maybe I'll go check out strength and conditioning, because I was like, I love lifting now. So I was like, let me go check this out. So I did some internships. I was like, wow, this is really cool. I really like this. But I took a look at the job market and I was like, wow, but these work hours and this pay and the lack of job stability is not really something that I like. So then I am graduating undergrad, and I'm like, oh man, I have absolutely no idea what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to grad school because I still need time to figure out my life, and hopefully a master's degree will help me I looked at it as this is more time for me to figure out what I'm going to do. And maybe the master's degree will help me get a better job. And I was really fortunate that when I was at my grad school that I was given an opportunity to go out to Las Vegas. I remember calling my parents and then telling them that, hey, I got an internship in Las Vegas, and then being like, well, I don't know if you should do that. It's really far away. It might be kind of expensive. And I was kind of like, yeah, I know, but I'm not really calling you to ask if I can. I'm calling you to tell you that I am going.
Yeah.
So, and I was like, I had no idea how I was going to make it work. I really had absolutely 0% idea on what I was doing or how I was going to do it. But I was like, this seems like it's a really good idea, and I'm just going to go do this.
Yep.
And then, I could have never imagined that ultimately ended up getting me my first job out in Dallas, and ended up having me move down here. And I honestly couldn't be any happier with the way that all worked out. But this would have never happened had I not taken that chance. I could very well still be back in Pennsylvania, living at home, not having a job, not knowing what to do. So, I just feel like it's really important that you got to take these opportunities, even if you have no idea what you're doing, or if you're really not sure how you're going to do it or work it out. I just feel that it's that important to go do these things.
Mm-hmm. It really is, man. It really is. And that's the beauty of stepping out of your comfort zone, because you absolutely did that. you really stepped out of your comfort zone. Like you said, you had no idea what you were going to do. You had no idea if it was going to work or not, but you gave it a shot. And the thing is that I was actually talking about this last week with someone, is that if you don't take these chances, you're going to always have that what if, in the back of your mind. So why not give it a shot? And if it doesn't work out for whatever reason, you just go right back to where you were, and no harm, no foul. But you gave it a shot.
Yeah, I mean, and who's to say that, say you go try something and it doesn't work out, but who's to say that another door doesn't open while so maybe the original door that you walked through, maybe like you're going through that and that didn't work out so hot and you're like, oh man, who's to say that while you were doing that, something else didn't happen or you didn't come across something else. You're like, oh, but maybe I could do this,
Exactly.
I mean, and that's one of the things you'll never know if you never try. So a lot of times I feel that people get too comfortable, with what they got going on, and then they don't like how their things are going for them. But it's like you have the power to change all of it.
Exactly. And you do. You have the power to do all that, and it's all, like you said, it's all from taking that chance. And that's a really good way to look at it too. Is maybe that door doesn't open and it wasn't the right one, but it led you to the right one. So it could just be a stepping stone as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Man, it's really, really good. I really enjoyed this talk, man. I really did. So let everybody know where's the best way to contact you on social media, whatever works best for you.
Yeah, so the easiest way and probably fastest way to reach me would be on Instagram. My Instagram handle is at @the_Zechman, and that my last name is spelled out Zechman. And conversely, you could also find me on the Iron Breed Performance page. That is my training and apparel company that I have with one of my friends from Lock Haven. Gerard, if you're listening, what's up, man? And
What's up, Gerard?
yeah, I know. But yeah, we started that up back in February, and we're slowly working on growing that. But if you feel so inclined to check out our page and see what we're doing, feel free to give us a follow and say hey, and we'll talk to you.
So you said it's an apparel brand that you guys are doing?
Yeah, apparel and coaching. So we wanted to do both. And frankly, when we launched it, our apparel has actually been getting a lot more attention than our coaching. And I'm not offended. I mean, it doesn't mean we're not good coaches.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like, okay, you like our clothing. That's cool too.
Cool.
We also do coaching. So
nice, man. So it's you two guys that started it?
yeah, yep. And we've been, and that we could probably do a whole podcast on starting a small business and things I wish I would have known. But once again, it comes down to you got to jump in and do it. Because I mean, I wouldn't change it. I mean, even though there's a lot of things that maybe we could have done differently, maybe we could have done better in the starting up process. It's like we would have never known if we would have never started. So
there you go, man. That's what it's all about. I think, and that's how it is. There's another good saying I heard that it says, leaders are always willing to learn, and you have to be willing to learn, and you don't learn if you don't take chances. So I mean,
yeah, well, yeah, and learning is, the moment you stop learning is the moment you stop growing, and yeah, that just.
Yep, it's absolutely right, man. I mean, I never thought I'd be able to meet such awesome people, because I was like, you know what, I want to talk to more people, and I'm gonna do it this way, and I did it, and sure, there was a ton of up and downs, always will be, but I mean, to get to hear people's stories and how they're growing, how they've grown, and where they're going to, that to me is just awesome, and it actually helps me see that there's always going to be a positive outcome if you never stop believing in not just yourself, but also the process. Like you said, keep believing it and trusting it, and just keep your head up.
Yeah, absolutely.
But nice. Well, cool, man. This was really good, Austin. I really had a really good time talking to you. I think we really should do that. Get with your friend and maybe do something that talks about the overall gist of with their own company and stuff like that. I think that'd be really cool, and it'd be fitness related, so it all works well.
Oh yeah, no, actually, I think that'd be a really good one. we've learned so much, and just good business choices, bad business choices, because we've made more than a couple, and both of those, and but we've lived to tell the tale, and we've been putting more and more interest in what we're doing, and we're going to be putting out more content. We're putting together schedules for everything that we want to do. But I think it would be really cool, and maybe somebody else would benefit from that. Maybe they're on the borderline of wanting to start a company, and
Right.
I would just say do it. I mean, make sure that you have your ducks in order, but do it. Just
Yeah, sure. It's true. It takes a lot, but for sure, there's nothing like having your own thing. There really isn't. And you see the changes, and you end up you love it because it's yours. You know.
yeah. Oh yeah, I know.
But awesome, man. Well, thank you so much, Austin, for taking some time out and talking with us and sharing your story, man. And we'll definitely keep in touch. And a few months down the road, we'll do another little part two to see what's been happening, and keep checking in with you, man.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Thank you so much for having me. I had a great time, and I hope that everybody who's listening was able to at least take away something from this conversation that would helps them going forward.
Yeah, exactly, man. That's the goal, man. So thank you so much, buddy. And everyone else listening, thank you so much again for, like Austin said, for listening to us and letting us continue to do what we love to do. If it wasn't for you guys, none of this would be possible. So definitely take care and tune in next time.